Alright, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're from. Dorf here to bring you a video that I can't seem to find on YouTube, and I thought maybe some people would be interested in some of the extras that went with the 1993 film Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. And the reason I have these extras is because I actually own it on a LaserDisc. It would be these big old things right here, extreme close-up. And back in the late 90s, I bought a bunch of LaserDiscs, and I still have a LaserDisc player. What's cool about them was, at the time, videotapes were still kind of expensive. This one, Signature Collection, extreme close-up, I paid about $1 off the Columbia House LaserDisc Club. So there it is, and it's even got some kind of cool pictures in there. It's like a double album back in those days, signed by the director. And it has a bunch of extras on there. I'd like to share with you guys is chapter 42 on side 4, the making of featurette. And again, I've yet to come across this on YouTube or even the DVD releases. Every time I see it, it's the $5 budget version. So here we go. Let me cut off the lights so you can see a little better. Boop. And here we go. Play.
No one really came close to what he was saying or what he was preaching or what he was developing.
There was something incredibly charismatic and vibrant about him.
He can be scary. And that's very tender and very sincere.
I think that's why so many people, male and female alike, are so enamored by who he was.
Universal Pictures and director Rob Cohen bring the saga of martial arts legend Bruce Lee to the big screen in Dragon, the Life of Bruce Lee.
I'm trying very hard to be true to the family and to make sure that it's a testament to the man, and also to be true to the fans who know the story.
Based on a biography by his wife Linda, Dragon follows Bruce from his delinquent youth in Hong Kong to a fresh start in the United States, tracking his rise to fame through the action, romance, and mystery that were a part of his remarkable life.
I'm really so pleased that someone is finally doing a picture about Bruce and about his life, more than just as a martial artist, but how he lived and how he loved and our family life. He could be the most sensitive and tender person, and I think this comes across in his films, but even more so in his life.
Actor Jason Scott Lee was chosen for the pivotal role of Bruce Lee.
Hi, Mom.
Though physically right for the part, Jason had had no training in the martial arts.
I felt if you take a martial artist and teach him to act, it won't work. But you could teach an actor the martial arts, and with a little bit of luck, you might get someone who could pull it off. What we got was a lot of luck.
As a child, I was a fan of Bruce. I had really enjoyed his work and his choreography and his charisma. Getting involved in Bruce's philosophies and Bruce's beliefs helped scare away all the fears that come into actually portraying a legend.
Jerry Poteet, who studied with Bruce Lee, was brought in to coach Jason in the gritty style of the master.
Bruce was a fighter. I mean, street fighter. He'd get out and he'd get into it, see? So he had that, he wanted that on the screen to be able to say that his fights look real.
determined not only to excel in the martial arts himself, but to share his philosophies with the Western world.
There you go, you see. It isn't size or strength that matters. It's focus.
Lauren Holly plays Linda Emery, the woman who would become Bruce's wife, despite her mother's objections.
So let's get down to the real issue. Children. They won't be white, and they won't be Oriental.
They'll be American. Linda's American. I'm American.
You're an American citizen. You're not really an American.
One of the biggest problems in Bruce's life was that he had a really hard time being accepted here in America. Being a Chinese man was very difficult. Bruce not only had a big problem being accepted from the Americans, but he also had a problem from his Hong Kong countrymen that were living in America.
We do things differently here. One of the things we do not do is teach our secrets to whites, blacks. They are the enemy.
They are not the enemy. They just don't know us. We've been so close for so long. They never see the real beauty of our culture. Let's show it to them.
I think he was unique because he stood in the middle of two fantastically powerful cultures, the Chinese culture and the American culture, so that he was able to single-handedly pull the two cultures together to make both sides understand each other better.
For Lee, however, his accomplishments were often overshadowed by a dark force which plagued his life.
3 months before Bruce actually passed away, he collapsed at the studio. And he told me later that something was trying to drag him down and away from life.
He said it was like fighting a demon, and we all have demons. So one of the first obligations of understanding a character is to understand his dark side and what drives him. Bruce was a driven man. I mean, incredibly driven.
There's something extra special about Bruce. It's more than just his personality. There's a charisma that comes across on the screen.
I'm Bruce Lee.
I love the story. It's a great story.
This place is eating us up. Can't you see this, Bruce?
I want to stop breaking my wife's heart.
It's never going to be over between you and me. You get it?
Alright, that's the end of part 1. More parts to come soon. Keep the dream alive. AlleghenyMountainRadio.org. Mondays, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. Bye-bye now.